Ever since Gohan's hidden power was shown in the early days of Dragon Ball Z, Goku and Gohan have been compared to each other, with fans always asking who is stronger at different points in the series. Of course, Gohan wasn't born until after original Dragon Ball, and I don't think hypothetical baby Gohan versus strongest under the heavens Goku during the time skip is worth starting with. But things do start to get interesting the minute the Saiyan Saga begins, and that's because Gohan's power fluctuates heavily. At the start of Dragon Ball Z, Gohan has practically no power under his control as Gohan isn't training, and he's focused on his studies instead. But things change when he's under emotional distress. So let's just compare Gohan's power level when in distress to Goku's at the same point. Goku starts the arc at a power level of 334, but when he's not wearing his weighted clothes, his power level jumps to 416. If we just compare that to Gohan, we know that Gohan surpasses his father when his power level jumps to 710 before Goku and Piccolo arrive on the battlefield, as well as 1307 before delivering the attack that would weaken Raditz enough for Piccolo and Goku to win. Now, using a Kamehameha does over double Goku's power level in this arc, but that can't be true in the long term. On Namek, Frieza is using half of his full power, which is a power level of 60 million, then Goku, whose power level is 3 million at this point, jumps to 60 million as well with a Kaioken times 20, which is why it can't kill Frieza, only hurt him. But if we use the Kamehameha doubling Goku's power output again, that would make his power level 120 million, and more than enough to kill or seriously hurt Frieza at this point, which clearly doesn't happen. But even if the Kamehameha did double his power level, it doesn't matter because that's not what this video is about. You see, I'm not really interested in discussing who would actually win a fight at any particular moment because that'd be even more of a Goku sweep than this video is already going to be. But talking about who was stronger at individual points in the series, now that's pretty interesting. Gohan has one more important outburst after Raditz is killed, and that's when Piccolo throws him at a mountain. Even Piccolo admits that Gohan's power in that moment was more than he imagined, and it was already after he saw Gohan severely injure Raditz. So safe to say Goku before training with King Kai isn't stronger than him in this instant. Gohan does have another outburst after this, which gets him stuck on top of a mountain, but it's hard to be sure how much power he's using since his outbursts clearly fluctuate based on the situation, so I won't assume anything here. With Gohan's outburst covered, he's no longer even comparable to Goku, at least not in his base form. And it's not Piccolo's tough training that changes him either. It's the full moon, and the Ozaru form, which multiplies Gohan's power tenfold. Based on Piccolo's own reaction to the form's power and choice to destroy the moon rather than risk getting close to him, I think it's fair to say that Gohan is stronger than him and likely even Goku, who's still on Snake Way at this point. Interestingly, since Gohan's power level is only 1 when he's not having an outburst, that must mean that Gohan's hidden power is being at least somewhat used when he's in his Ozaru form, which is important to know for later. Man, Gohan's Ozaru form just destroyed all of my wall art! Thankfully, Display is the sponsor of today's video. Display is an art marketplace that supports artists globally by allowing them to sell their artwork on premium metal posters, which are far more durable than traditional prints on poster paper. Display even has officially licensed design from franchises you know, like One Piece, Halo, and even Dragon Ball. So you could get official art of your favorite characters to decorate your space. And you know I just had to get this one. Let's put it up on the wall. What's great about Display is their magnetic mounting system that's extremely easy to install and doesn't damage your walls, while still allowing posters to be swapped out easily as your style changes. My favorite part about this system is the ability to easily level any poster I put up by just adjusting them on the magnets. Display has over 2 million artworks to choose from and ships quickly around the world, so no matter what you like or where you are, you can get the perfect display for you. So check out Display using my link in the description down below and make sure to use my exclusive discount code. Oh, I think Piccolo just blew up the moon. Let's get back to that. After the moon is destroyed though, Gohan doesn't have much going on for him for a while. Sure, he has outbursts against Nappa, but those are nothing compared to Goku, who's finished his training and can use the Kaioken. Later, Gohan has an outburst against Vegeta, and technically he's stronger than Goku, whose bones are broken and is barely conscious, so we'll give it to him, but the Ozaru is the cooler question. Of course, Ozaru Gohan is stronger than the injured and weakened Goku I just mentioned, but what about Goku at the beginning of his fight with Vegeta? Well, Vegeta seems to think he'd be able to take Ozaru Gohan if he wasn't so wounded, which should mean that Goku with a Kaioken times 3 should be stronger, and he does seem to be able to use that pretty easily at the beginning of the fight, let alone a Kaioken times 4. But again, at this moment in time, Ozaru Gohan is clearly stronger than Goku. On Namek, Gohan does get his potential unlocked, but right before he does, Goku already thinks he can use a Kaioken times 10, and even if we pretend his base power is the same as it was in the Saiyan Saga, which it clearly wouldn't, wouldn't be. His max power level is at least over 80,000, which Gohan just can't compete with at this point. Now, Goku does get his body stolen by Ginyu. Whether you compare Gohan to the brink of death Ginyu body or Ginyu and Goku's body, it seems like he's more powerful in both cases, so I'm gonna give it to him. The next moment to talk about isn't until partway through the fight with Frieza, where Goku is recovering in a healing tank, and Gohan is powered up by a few Zenkai boosts and a Rage boost. The first of these boosts put him well above Vegeta in terms of power, and even make him comparable to second form Frieza, who's arbitrarily above a power level of 1 million. Assuming Gohan has a power level of 1 million exactly in this moment, which I think is fair, that would actually put Gohan above Goku using a Kaioken times 10. But wait a second, shouldn't Goku's power level be higher than that? Well, it seems like Zenkai boosts don't manifest until the Saiyan is fully healed, since Goku acts so surprised to his final Zenkai of the arc after leaving the healing tank. Because of that, I'm basing this off of Goku's power level of 90,000 when first arriving on Namek and facing Captain Ginyu. So I'm willing to give Gohan the win here, and that should make it clear that when Gohan uses an attack so strong that it pushes back third form Frieza, and even Frieza himself says Gohan is stronger than he was before, that Gohan is stronger than Goku here as well, since Goku is still in the healing tank. Add on the fact that Gohan seems to have actual control of his power in this moment based on the way he's yelling out about using his full power, and I think that makes it even more clear. But that's where it ends for Gohan this arc, since Goku exits the tank and becomes a Super Saiyan. There's also this anime filler scene of Gohan fighting Frieza, but that's not in the manga, and honestly, it wouldn't change anything even if it was. Now we get to the Cell Saga, but before we get to the main timeline, I want to talk about the future timeline and the future version of these characters. For starters, future Gohan is stronger than future Goku with the heart virus, I guess, since we know that makes him significantly weaker in the present timeline. But that's not the interesting conversation here. After 15 years of facing the androids and 1 year of dedicated training, future Gohan should be stronger than future Goku when he was alive. And in the anime special, I think it's fair to say that he is. But in the manga, future Gohan still thinks he's weaker than future Goku before he died, let alone any training he's doing in the afterlife. And yes, Goku keeps his body in the afterlife even when dying to the heart virus. So is future Gohan actually weaker than Goku when he came back from Yardrat? I don't think so. Future Gohan having self-doubt when comparing himself to someone that he idolizes isn't something we haven't seen before. Just look to present Gohan, who doubts that he's stronger than Goku even when he is, so he makes excuses about Goku's power, showing that this self-doubt is in character for him. So this may be contentious, but I'm gonna say that future Gohan, after 1 year of training before his final confrontation with the androids, should almost certainly be stronger than future Goku was when alive and healthy, though Goku's potential training in the afterlife could have given him the edge, but that would be entirely hypothetical, so we can't really count it for anything here. In the present timeline, the Cell Saga is an interesting comparison point for these two right from the start, because Goku trains with Gohan and Piccolo in the 3-year time skip. The manga shows us Goku is training with them as a Super Saiyan, so Gohan is clearly far stronger when the androids appear, while Goku might have slowed his progress due to him helping two people far weaker than himself. Obviously, Goku has Super Saiyan while Gohan doesn't, so for the beginning of the arc, it may seem one-sided, but after Goku starts feeling the symptoms of the heart virus, he can't access his full power. Meanwhile, Piccolo, who trained with Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan, is at least relative to a healthy Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta if we go off of his fight with a powered-up Android 20, aka Dr. Gero. Interestingly, after Gero absorbs enough of Piccolo's energy to think he's going to kill him and that there's no way anyone other than Vegeta can beat him, Piccolo is still winning easily, showing he had deep reserves of power. Remember, Gero can detect power levels in some capacity as shown earlier in the arc, so he has some understanding of how much power he needs to win. I know this video isn't about Piccolo, but it's important to compare his performance in this fight to Gohan, who was able to knock Gero off of Piccolo relatively easily. Remember, this is a Gero using enough power to hold Piccolo in place, has some amount of Piccolo's energy, enough that Piccolo needed a Senzu after, and even had some of Vegeta's energy from a Ki Blast he absorbed earlier. My point being, even without being unconscious from the heart virus, Gohan may have been stronger than a fresh Goku with the heart virus at the start of his fight with Android 19, since he couldn't release his full power. And you know what? I think that's funny, so I'm gonna give it to Gohan even if you think it's dumb or wrong. After Goku recovered though, Gohan had been relatively sidelined in terms of action since that first fight, so he's just weaker than a healthy Super Saiyan Goku. But everything changes when we get to the Time Chamber. You see, when Goku and Gohan finally get their turn in the Time Chamber, one of Goku's goals is directly stated to be making Gohan stronger than himself. For the first few months in the Room of Spirit and Time, Goku isn't growing stronger stronger as quickly as he could be because he's training Gohan to turn Super Saiyan. And after Gohan gets a hang of the form, Goku comments about Gohan's quick progress. Arguably, they are near equal at this point, but it doesn't really matter as Goku reveals he has access to Super Saiyan Grade 2, which gives him a massive lead over Gohan's Super Saiyan Grade 1, even if it's not the right path forward for surpassing the Super Saiyan wall. After exiting the time chamber though, it isn't even close. Gohan is stronger than Goku as a mastered Super Saiyan. I made a whole video going over this a few years ago, so check that out if you want to deep dive into this topic, but in short, Gohan constantly thinks to himself that Goku's power isn't as big as it should be, and he must be holding back, because in comparison to Gohan's own power as a mastered Super Saiyan, Goku just isn't very impressive to him. Then of course, Gohan is the first Saiyan to unlock Super Saiyan 2, and because of that, he only widens and solidifies the power gap he already has over Goku. Then during the 7-year time skip, Gohan slacks on his training. But what everybody gets wrong here is that he didn't stop training entirely, he just doesn't take it nearly as seriously. This is clearly shown when comparing Gohan after 7 years of no training to Gohan after 1 year of no training in Resurrection F. Regardless, early Buu Saga is a clear Goku win, as even without Super Saiyan 3, he's stronger than Gohan during the Cell games, who is clearly stated to be stronger than Gohan in the early Buu Saga. This doesn't change until Gohan is in the realm of the Kaioshin. But before we get to the obvious moment, I do want to point out that Gohan's base form after training with the Z-Sword is stronger than Goku's, as shown by Goku struggling to wield the sword while Gohan is able to use it effortlessly. Goku still doesn't think that Gohan is strong enough to beat Buu after the Z-Sword is broken though, so maybe he just thinks that Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is weaker than his Super Saiyan 3, since Super Saiyan 3 Goku could beat Fat Buu by Goku's own admission later in the arc, meaning that Goku still has the upper hand here. But obviously the big power-up comes from the Z-Sword breaking and Gohan having his potential unleashed. Again. This is when Gohan receives what we now call the Ultimate form. It should be obvious, but Ultimate Gohan is stronger than Goku, and it's only slightly contentious later on, where it's mainly an issue in the anime, because Kid Buu is directly and repeatedly stated to be the strongest Buu. In the manga, which is my focus here, where Kid Buu is more realistically just a stronger version of Fat Buu or even Super Buu, I think it's hard to make the case that Super Saiyan 3 Goku is stronger than Gohan. We see Goku is still scared of Super Buu after they removed his absorptions, while Gohan should still be stronger, and Vegeta's speech is before Gohan is revived, so why would he even be considered? It's likely even before Gohan would have gotten his body back in the afterlife, as it was destroyed when the Earth was, and could only be remade once he reaches Enma's desk, like Enma did for Vegeta. People also bring up the Daizenshu statement that claims Kid Buu and Goku are the current strongest, but using that ignores how the Daizenshu, despite using manga images and chapter numbers, is a guidebook series for the anime and manga. The Daizenshu often tries to combine the anime and manga continuities in an attempt to make everything fit into one story as best as possible. Add on that we know Super Saiyan 3 Goku can't draw out his full power in a living body, similar to the heart virus earlier, and I think it's hard to say that Gohan isn't stronger here. A quick side note, but I promise it's relevant, people think Vegeta not having Gohan and Gotenks brought to the realm of the Kaioshin is proof that they wouldn't be enough to beat Kid Buu, which kinda makes sense, except Goku suggesting they be brought there to win the fight is basically Goku saying that he believes they're stronger than Buu, who he's been fighting and has a better understanding of than Vegeta, while also being an admission that they're likely stronger than the power he can draw out in Super Saiyan 3 at this point in the story. So I really think you could only give this to Gohan. In Daima, Goku is explicitly stated to be the strongest, so after a year of him clearly training seriously, as he says at the end of the series, and Gohan clearly beginning his studying arc where training comes secondary, if it even happens at all, it's easy to say that Goku has definitively overtaken Gohan again by this point of the story, without even talking about Super Saiyan 4. That takes us right to Dragon Ball Super, where, unlike Vegeta, Gohan gets heavily sidelined. Outside of using moments where Goku is injured or incapacitated as an excuse for Gohan to have a vague moment of possibly being stronger, we really have nothing concrete or interesting to talk about until Dragon Ball Super Superhero. You see, everything in Superhero is compared to Goku and Vegeta, with the Gammas being seen as relative to them and Cell Max being seen as superior. But these comparisons are made by characters that haven't seen Goku and Vegeta since the Moro arc. Even then, these comparisons are contentious due to Goku and Vegeta having undetectable God Ki. It's pretty hard to imagine the Gammas taking down Moro like Ultra Instinct Goku could when they can't easily beat a slightly rusty Ultimate Gohan. So I'd rather focus on the more interesting question here. Beast Gohan versus Ultra Instinct Goku. When Gohan first transforms into Beast Gohan, I think it's fair to assume that Goku still has the lead here, and that's because their spar on Beerus's planet is after Gohan trains with Piccolo and has better control over the Beast form. If you follow the Dragon Ball Super manga, you may be wondering why Goku is using the silver-haired Ultra Instinct instead of true Ultra Instinct, but that's because true Ultra Instinct, which is actually just Ultra Instinct Sign, is only stronger than the silver-haired form when Goku can't control his emotions. So in a spar with his son, he can stay perfectly calm, allowing him to use what Beerus and Whis call Goku's strongest form. In the spar with Goku, Gohan is using the maximum output of his power that he can actually control, while Goku isn't even fighting to win. So it seems to me like Goku still has at least a slight lead here, especially since Gohan needed to use this new move in order to keep up with Ultra Instinct, while Goku didn't even use his strongest abilities. Of course, Gohan could literally be stronger with his uncontrolled power, but we don't know if losing control would allow him to overcome Goku's key avatar, which does seem to make Goku at least somewhat stronger. I do think these characters are all so close to each other in terms of power that it's fair to call this even for now, since I think a winner would have been made more clear if that was Toyotaro's intention. And based on his later quote about all the characters on the volume cover being relative to each other, I think he wanted to show just how close everyone actually is. Thanks to all the members on the screen behind me right now. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and thank you so very much for watching.